Good morning, everybody out there. Hope you're doing well today. Happy Thursday. This is the Overflow podcast. My name is Andy Ferguson, and sitting next to me is Pastor Jeff Waterman.
Good morning, Andy. How are you?
Good morning. Fantastic today. How about yourself?
Yeah, well, it's a nice, cool week this week.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a nice break from the heat.
I agree. I love spring weather, and I know that it's summer now, but we didn't get much spring this year, so I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Here we are at episode 70 of our Overflow podcast. We are overflowing as we do from our Sunday sermon. This previous Sunday was the 14th of June, and we have been rooted in truth this past week.
Yeah, very important to be rooted in truth.
Yeah, absolutely. So this was part one, actually, because part two, this coming Sunday, Father's Day, is going to be another, just a continuation of what that means to be rooted in truth. So then we're ready for the day.
The day.
Exactly.
Yeah, because at the end, Peter, this whole time, Peter has a lot of eschatological, there's a nice word for you, eschatological theming and emphasis. So it's being rooted in the truth so that when the day comes, when it happens, we can stand in front of the Lord. And as he says in 2 Peter 1, that we can receive that reward and be glorified and be, it'll all come to fruition. We'll all be like, I think.
Yeah.
After we go,
Exactly. I like that. Yeah. So we've been in 1st and 2nd Peter. 1st Peter, obviously, as we started our Rooted and Ready sermon series throughout, the beginning of this summer. And so now we've just begun 2nd Peter. We're in the first chapter of 2nd Peter, where Peter is stirring up within us this make every effort kind of language towards godliness and righteous living, and calling on what he has known and remembered and what he saw and what he heard to try to, again, stir up within us a confidence and a boldness and the ability to stand against the evil one.
Yeah. When you look in this section, you see Peter. We are assuming it's Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would disagree. Mm-hmm. I think it's Peter. But you see God. We'll just say God wrote this, whether it was by Peter's hand or someone else's hand, right?
Yeah.
That he's talking a lot about remember. Remember. And one of the things we said Sunday was most of the time ignorance isn't our problem. It's not that we don't know.
Right.
It's that we forget.
It's so true. And as you also said on Sunday, that Satan, our adversary, the one who is against us, is so tactful and practiced in getting to us that he waits until we're at our lowest moments or most tired or stressed, and then he starts to pick.
So right now the World Cup is playing. Are you watching the World Cup?
I've seen highlights.
Because you were a soccer player, weren't you?
Yeah, loved it, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I've been watching highlights.
Okay. But one of the things, when our kids were playing soccer, one of the things that one of the coaches said, who was from Europe and was a very good tactician, he would talk about possessing the ball and using to control the ball until your opponent made a mistake or got out of position, and that you could recognize that so that you could attack their weakness. Mm-hmm. And so he would preach this over and over and over to the players, right? And Satan is that way. Right. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like he's not doing a whole lot and life is going, just, hey, it's great. And then all of a sudden you feel like out of left field, bam, because he is so tactful. He is so attentive to where are we? What are our weaknesses? And man, I can now attack. I can be like that prowling lion waiting to pounce on somebody.
Yeah. Let's dive into those few tactics that you mentioned. They are in fact like the same 3 types of attacks that Satan uses every single time, it seems. I also want to mention, though, that there's really encouraging information, some wording within this first chapter of 2nd Peter, where he says that God's divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness. And that is super encouraging for me because it's, again, not on something that I need to will out. And it's God has already done this. I need to remember that he's already done this and live into that identity.
Yeah, it's that idea. Our first point was remember what you have. Mm-hmm. And we have a God that has crushed Satan's head, right? Mm-hmm. All the way back to Genesis chapter 3. but that he's granted to us. We have everything that we need for life and godliness. We have it.
That's amazing.
He's given it to us. So just remember what we have. In the first century, a theme of a lot of writers was Christus Victor, this idea that Christ was victorious over sin, victorious over death. And so what do we have? We get to, as it says here, we get to share in that, or we get to partake in that divine nature, that divine virtue.
Isn't it so great that that's the promise that we can receive and that we have? It's been gifted to us. And yet that having enough or having the power to be able to withstand is actually one of the tactics that Satan uses against us. It's a total twisting, and he's always twisting and counterfeiting.
And I was going to talk a little bit about, what makes a good lie.
That it has a lot of truth within it.
Yeah.
Or seasoned with truth.
So if I said, hey, climb up onto, a tall building, the new building down in Detroit that sits in the place of Hudson's, it's super tall.
Okay.
And I said, all right, Andy, jump off. You'll be fine.
Right. That wouldn't work so well.
You would know right away I'm lying to you, right?
Yeah.
But if I can make a lie that sounds very plausible, has a lot of truth, it's rooted in truth, but just enough off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can trick people. That's what fraudsters do, right? It's like we said, wow, I get this letter. It looks like it's from the U.S. Department of Treasury.
Yeah. The Prince of Nigeria, right?
I remember one time I got a text from a lady. It said it was from a lady in our church.
Oh.
And that they needed some help with getting something off of buying something on Amazon. They were trying to buy something for their granddaughter on Amazon, and were struggling. And can you do this? Da da da. And I was almost ready to go do it, and then I went, wait a minute, hold on, let me call. So I called this person, and I said, hey, I'm here to help. Have you tried this? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Wow, tricky.
So I almost, gave my information because I wanted to help this person in our church.
Man. Yeah, so Satan is called the father of lies for a reason, a master of deception, it's a scary thing, but it is a powerful title as well. And you got that from literally being the beginner of lying and what it is to deceive.
Yeah, Genesis chapter 3, right? He just walks Adam and Eve down the road to where they in their flesh want to go.
Yeah. So his playbook of not having enough, right, it's all the time is just attacking of, okay, it breeds onto our fear nature, right? And so will I have enough? I don't have enough. Do I have enough? Is it either time or talent or money or food or knowledge, or am I receiving enough too?
Right. Yeah. Do I have enough? Fear is always about, do I have enough? Like if you think about, we used to take students on a rock climbing, and because it would really confront their fear. First of all, do I have enough skill to climb up this rock? Number one. Number two, if I don't, does this rope have enough strength to hold me?
Right.
If it does the person running the belay have enough attention span to make sure they're not sleeping on the job?
It's a lot of fear.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, and it's all about, does it have enough?
Yep.
Does it have
Doubt.
enough strength? Does it have enough skill? Does it have enough attention to make sure that I'm okay, that I'm not going to plummet to my death? Right.
And that's in direct opposition to faith and hope and security and steadfastness and all, right?
And then so here, to your point, God says that his divine power has been granted to us.
Right. Supplement your faith with virtue and all these godly, amazing qualities. I love that. And if you practice these qualities, then you will not fall.
Right.
And the falling is in that doubtful time, the fearful time, the stress time, the anxious time, etc.
Oh, for sure. And, Satan says, all right, he attacks with fear, guilt, and shame, right? All three. Fear is always, do I have enough, or am I receiving enough? And that was Adam and Eve, right? Do I have enough? No. Hey, there's something I don't have. I need more.
Right.
You have the whole garden.
Right.
So when we live on a lake, and I like to water ski, And so we find the spot where it's really nice, smooth water. And I inevitably, it
Yeah.
happens every time. I'm in the water, getting ready, and then some stinking little jet ski is going to come right in front of me. And you know what I say? You've got the whole lake. Why do you
Right.
need this spot?
Right.
Why do you need to ruin my water? Adam and Eve had the whole garden.
Yeah. You know what's more than that? Beyond whatever was physically around them in the garden, they literally had God right there
Right.
with them, walking with them. It didn't even matter if they didn't have to worry about any food ever. They didn't have to worry about anything ever. And we need to operate the same way. We need to remember that we are also the same as them, walking with God.
Remember what we have.
Yeah. And it says right there, the indwelling of the Spirit, right? These
Yeah.
promises and what has been, man, it's just these very great and precious promises that he's granted to us.
Right.
My goodness. And,
Right.
and
And
all
then-
it takes is just being distracted for a moment to forget it.
Right. And then I love verse 11. For in this way there will be richly provided for you
Yes. An
an
entrance.
into the eternal kingdom of our Lord and Savior Jesus
My
Christ.
goodness.
Right. So, yeah, we worry about what we don't have or what we lack
Mm-hmm.
so much that it, and Satan can use it. Satan uses it so well,
Yeah.
and uses that fear to cripple us.
Yeah. So you know what we have is we have God's power, which it says right here. We have God's power working on our behalf. What a peaceful and blessed place to be.
Which goes down to the word of guilt.
Mm.
Guilt is always connected with doing.
Yes. Okay. Let's go.
So if you're in a court of law and you're on trial,
Yeah.
they're trying to determine did you or did you not do what you're being accused of. And at the end, if you did or did not do what you're supposed to do, if you did it, you are then pronounced guilty.
Yeah.
It always has to do with doing. And so you had just said that we have the power of God working on our behalf, but yet we think we have to do more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the issue that King Nebuchadnezzar had when he was talking about, look at what I've created by the might of my own hands. What a prideful place to be, to think that you could even, like, was it not God that did all this working through you? And the same thing with our finances or bringing the full tithe, right? Is it not God that provided those things to you? Or I need to work on this, this, and this, and this, because if I don't, am I going to have enough talent or whatever? Well, is it not God who provides the talent? The same way that he provided the talent for the Israelites back when he made them be able to create the ephod and all of the Ark of the Covenant. It says in that section of Exodus, I believe, right, where it talks about, that's around like Exodus 30-ish, it talks about how he gave them the craftsmanship, the ability to produce all these things.
Right. If you think about it, all the pictures of the Ark of the Covenant and all these things are pretty ornate.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so these people were making bricks out of mud and straw. Where'd they learn how to do all this? Right.
Exactly.
Like, I'm pretty sure that they weren't making bricks out of straw and gold.
Right.
I don't think Pharaoh was trusting them to make the trim pieces for his palace.
Right.
Right. And so where'd they learn? God provided it.
Yeah.
Right? And
It's incredible.
so, yeah, we often, I hear people say things like they'll be upset. Oh, I have to do this, or I have to do this, or I've got to go here. I got to do this. I gotta. And sure, there are things that, hey, this is what my life is doing right now. Like in a few minutes or a few hours or whatever, you gotta go pick up Sage from his
Preschool.
daycare,
Yeah.
preschool, whatever, right? Because as a dad, you're not going to leave them there all alone all night long.
Yeah, that's sad.
That
That's
would
a
be
sad
awful,
thought.
right? But
Right.
you're not doing it because you have to do it. Like you're doing it because you want to be the loving, caring father for Sage, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's so many things where people are consumed with, I've got to do more, and it's not driven out of because I love them, but it's because I want to feel better about myself. I want to justify myself.
Yeah.
I want God to approve of me. And Satan, he's so good at that. Like, yeah, you didn't do enough. You didn't do enough. I was talking to a guy the other day. The guy comes over and says, hey, can I get a ride? And I said, sure. Where are you going? He said he had to go to a recovery group.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And then he starts talking to me about, why do I have to fix everything for my family? I said, what do you mean, fix everything for your family? And he starts telling me all the stuff that his family and all the weight that's on him. I said, well, why do you have to do that? He says, because I have to. And I said, why? Because that way they will love me.
Wow.
And I went, no, that's guilt working out. And he's carrying all of this weight.
Yeah.
And God says, it's my power working on your behalf.
Yeah. That's one of the great differences and challenges within this world, the difference between those operating with a Christian godly mindset and a worldview versus those who live in a very secular atheistic worldview. It's the beauty of a Christian lifestyle is the grace, the peace, the joy, the love, the compassion, the kindness, the steadfastness through trials, and the enduring through things, and the mercy for one another.
Absolutely.
And in the secular atheistic worldview, and I'm not saying I don't know anything about this guy, but that is what is bred culturally. It's
Absolutely.
unfortunate.
Well, and that's one of the, so people, I think doing is hard for people to, because we are doers, right?
Yeah.
And then you can go back and say, but even before the fall, God said, be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth. See, that's work, that's doing. Yeah. The difference is why. So for me, I'm going to be a little vulnerable here. One of the issues, guilt is an issue for me. One of these tends to be a bigger issue for each person. We all have this fatal flaw.
Yeah.
And so we're coming, I've shared this at Family on Mission and in some other settings. Like Kathy and I are coming at an end where a lot of our projects, a lot of our things that we were working on are coming to completion. And so we're coming into a time where, quite frankly, there might be some margin in our life that hasn't been there over the last few months.
Hallelujah.
Amen, right?
Right.
Just in time for summer.
Yeah.
But anyway, but one of the things we've been talking about is what are we going to now fill that margin time with? Our modus operandi tends to be, well, we'll go on to the next project. Sometimes what we've got to do when we agree to do something, maybe you've done this, where you agree to do something like months in advance, and then you get to it, you're like, why did I ever choose to do this, right? And so when we're making decisions on what we're going to do, we're starting to ask the question, what's the motive? Are we doing this because this shows love and it shows grace and it shows mercy and it brings about fulfillment? Or am I doing this to receive some kind of accolade, or I'm doing this to receive some kind of attaboy or something like that, where I'm being validated because of what I'm doing? And I think that's a big question, and it's a hard question. I know it's hard for me to answer. Yeah. Some people are like, that's so easy for me to answer. For me, it's not. For those of us that struggle with guilt, that is the hardest question, because oftentimes we do things so that other people will approve of us.
Sure.
And number one, God. Like, I'm not doing enough for God's kingdom.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
It was very fitting. After the service, there was close to 35-ish people or more at the parent-kids connection meeting, right, which was awesome, by the way. And it was fitting because a lot of the things that Katie was teaching about at that time was exactly that. And it kind of stemmed through, like, what is your identity and what is your value? And also, where did these ideas that you have, your perspective, come from? And a lot of it was, how did you receive praise when you were just a child, and you kind of like grow into these things, and they develop, and then they shape who you become over time. And that's why we need to continue to remember who we are.
Remember what we have. Remember these things. Funny story. Yesterday I was driving around, and there's a guy in a new Corvette, those new mid-engine Corvettes that I don't know, they cost $100,000, and his license plate was 2.9 GPA.
Okay. I like that. That's good. Wow. Good for you, man. Right. That's awesome. That just reminds me, I saw a little YouTube short, and it was a 6 foot tall guy driving in a Lambo, and he looked like, from the back, he looked like a Mario Kart character. He was out here, and the guy's like, you look ridiculous, but I'm driving a Lambo. I don't see you driving a Lambo.
That's right.
And his head is out the top.
I just thought that was funny. He's like, yeah, y'all think you need a 4.0, but look at me. I'm in a 2s.
That's pretty funny, actually. I like that. I like that. So these qualities that have been given to us, and the qualities qualities that we are actually supposed to be making every effort toward. So there is a do element to what is being said here, right? Make every effort. So this is a doing thing. Supplement your faith with virtue, okay? And what is virtue? I looked it up. I wanted to. Sometimes in the Bible, there's words that we have in English that just mean so much more. You know, you could say virtue, and you're like, oh, that's a good virtue. That's a nice thing to have. But what is it? It's high moral standards. It's integrity. And what is integrity? That's doing the right thing when no one's watching, right? So you don't have the shame and the guilt that follows.
I love the word. The idea of integrity is it's who you are always.
Yes, okay. I like that.
Right? Because what's the number one complaint about Christianity?
Yeah, two-faced, right?
Hypocrisy, right?
Yeah.
We're this way on Sunday. We pretend everything's really good, but Monday through Friday, not so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And so, integrity it gets rid of hypocrisy. And what's it take to have integrity? You have to know who you are.
Yeah, that's right.
Because once you know who you are and what you already have, you're immovable. You will not fall.
That's exactly right. And the more you know who you are, the more that you're rooted in your identity, the less, like you just said, you're going to be shaken, or you're going to give other people the power to change you or to impact or influence you, right? So living with these high moral standards with integrity, that's honesty, that's being honorable, that's strength, that's fairness, that's excellence in character and in life. Awesome stuff. It says to supplement that with knowledge. Okay, great. So that's like Bible study. That's getting into the Word, and the Word has the ability to, sift into your body and to change and renew your mind, to allow you to have a change of heart, even the softening of your heart, the becoming malleable and moldable by God through His Word, through the power in the living, active Word. Godliness. That's devotion to God. That's Christ-like in holiness. Being steadfast. What is steadfast? That's firm, unwavering, resolute, loyal, dedicated, determined. And we've been gifted and given these qualities, yet at the same time, we need to make every effort to actually practice them, to be found that they are found within us and increasing.
Yeah, I find this list and Paul's fruit of the Spirit very similar.
Yeah.
Right? And so one of the things that we say here at the Well is that the Bible is a picture, a mirror, and a window.
Okay. Yep.
Right? Because ideally, we operate like this all the time. Ideally. In reality, we don't.
Right.
Right? It says here, like, with brotherly and godliness with brotherly affection. Mm-hmm. There are sometimes I'm not really affectionate towards my brothers. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I get mad at them. I get frustrated with them. I don't speak to them well. All those things, right?
Yeah.
So as a mirror, I can look at it and go, well, then if I'm supposed to do that, I can ask the question, well, why am I not? Mm-hmm. And it always goes back to fear, guilt, shame.
Right.
And then now you can say, oh, now there's a window. How do I need to? Where is it that I need to? I used a word on Sunday, and a person came up to me afterwards and said, I loved that. She says, because I know a lot, but sometimes I don't embrace it.
Yes. That was a good word. Embrace.
Right? Embrace what you know. Mm-hmm. Because until we actually embrace it, all it is head knowledge. But until we put it on, until we allow it to drive who we are, that power, His divine power that's been granted, until we allow that to work in us, it's just this power source that's sitting over. It's kind of like a plug on the wall that has all the power you need to charge your device. Uh-huh. But you never plug it in, and then you're like, why doesn't my device stay charged?
That's right. Not good roots, right? So if you think about what roots do in soil, they're embracing and they're enveloping and abiding within the soil, and that's how they get the nutrients and so on. So we need to be rooted in the truth, part one, right? And that's like embracing the truth, living in the truth, diving in, being diligent, as we're saying, and all these things. And wow, what a blessed place to be.
And so it uses the words, you will not fall.
Yeah.
So I was picking up some chairs at a guy's house the other day, and I have this old 1997 F-150 that I used to haul just crud around, like for rentals and all that. And the guy comes out and says, "Who's the driver?" Because my tailgate's is all jacked up. And I said, "Oh, I didn't hit anything." I said, "I was trying to pull out a tree, and it was so strong that it broke the rope. And at the end of the rope, there was a chain, and it came and it hit my
oh my goodness!
That's how strong that tree's roots system were, right? It was so strong that even with all the power of a truck pulling on it, it was still stronger. It wouldn't fall.
Man, it's so cool as well. And there's a metaphor here that trees, like the really large ones, and they've had time to develop and they're mature. The roots are actually about the same size as what is visible. So what is not seen has been worked on and developed and has been rooted in and so deeply embraced into what the soil is and what it needs for the foundation,
Right.
that what is visible then is almost identical. It's like
Right.
the same.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible. So how do you want to end our particular podcast today?
Well, I think, the reminders are just that.
Yeah.
First of all, remember what you have. You have this divine power. It's not saying here, hey, you have to make all these virtues come to your life. That's not solely on you to do it, because it's been granted you. God has given the power and he's instilled that in you through Holy Spirit. Just embrace it. Allow it to work in you. And then he says, remember what you know. Therefore, I intend always to remind you of these qualities, though you know them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember what you know. Remember what you know.
Yeah.
We heard from Yoda on Sunday. And, and then pass it on.
Right.
Like, I think one of the things that, my two sons were pole vaulters, and we took our oldest son to a guy named Orrin Mitchell. Orrin Mitchell was a coach for an Olympian pole vaulter, and I remember I took David there. He was a sophomore, and I thought, okay, he's going to learn from Orrin Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching him, and Orrin Mitchell didn't coach him at all this one week. I went, okay. Took him the next week. Didn't coach him at all. I'm like, oh. So I'm driving to the west side of the state.
Right.
And so what he was doing is he's being coached by all these upperclassmen, all these juniors and seniors.
Yep.
And so afterwards, I said to Orrin, I said, hey, help me understand what's going on here, because I'm coming here to be coached by you, but he doesn't get much time with you. And he says, that's on purpose. He said, I hope that your son will be where they're at someday. He said, because I'm teaching them to pass on what they know, because I don't believe you fully know it until you have to teach it.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, wow, that was really powerful. And I think one of the ways that we can really cement, as you're talking about diving into the word, is not just soak it in, but also have to push it out and have to declare it and have to teach it and have to pass it on, because that really drives our roots deep.
Yeah. That's true. I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a neuroscientist, and she's done all the studies about, obviously brain and everything, and neuroplasticity and neural highways and things along that nature. And they've studied by observation the difference of like what happens within your brain when you're just reading something versus when you speak it out loud. And, and that's why therapy and counseling and even confession is extremely helpful, is because when you actually speak these things out loud, the stuff that is negative of the fear side of your brain and all that sort of knowledge, it actually begins to deconstruct those tendrils and things that like roots in your head. And then the stuff that is life-giving, surprisingly, when you speak them out loud, they actually tend to become stronger, and like the highways are longer and thicker.
Yeah, I find in coaching or in the counseling I do, as soon as I have somebody articulate what's making them feel anxious, or what's making them feel depressed, or what's making them feel nervous, or what is that thing that they're hiding, once they declare it, they realize that monster isn't as big as they thought it was.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden it becomes manageable just simply by speaking it. And likewise, the truth becomes truer when you speak it.
Yeah, that's so good. So remember what they saw. At the same time, that's a great reminder for us to remember what we've seen, because we've seen God work a lot in our lives too, and that helps to bring us to more confidence as well as stability and foundation, and to being rooted, as we're saying. So we're looking forward to seeing all of you guys this coming Sunday, and we're going to be rooted in truth. It's part 2 on Father's Day, by the way. Happy Father's Day early.
You too.
Thanks.
Happy Father's Day. We're going to be rooted in truth and ready for hot dogs.
Absolutely. absolutely. Yes. We don't want to know what's in the hot dog, so don't tell us the truth of that.
Oh, we
but-
know they only buy all beef.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I
Get
know
the
who
good
buys
Angus
them.
ones. Nice.
Yeah, so they're all beef, no mystery meat.
You can tell the difference too.
You can,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite version of a hot dog?
I like chili on them. I like spicy stuff. So if I can
Okay.
get jalapenos or the banana peppers in the hot dog with some
okay.
chili,
All right.
it's so good.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
ketchup. I'll even add that.
Yeah, yeah.
I know
that's good. No ketchup on a hot dog. You can't put ketchup on a hot dog.
Jeff doesn't like that, right?
It's not on a hot dog. I put it on a hamburger. Anyways,
What's your favorite though? Sorry.
I like the Chicago dog.
Okay.
I like the sport peppers, and I like the tomatoes, and I like the poppy seed bun, and I like the spicy mustard, and there's just a lot of flavor going on there that's really good.
Nice.
It's probably my favorite.
Very good. Well, we're looking forward to that. And is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Awesome, guys. So we are on chapter 2 of First Peter this coming weekend. And there's only 3 chapters in Second Peter here. So feel free to read ahead, and you're only going to be better off for it. Right?
Right, for sure. And we're coming to the end of our Rooted and Ready,
That's
which
right.
means we're going into our Just Ask
Good.
summer series.
Good plug. Yep.
And so if you're out there, we're not going to have anything to talk about on Sunday morning if you don't just ask a question.
Love that.
Right?
Yep.
So we'll just sit there in silence.
You know what? And that is exactly what happened when I was on Carnival Cruise Line. We had a Just Ask team, and we would stand there in silence until somebody came and approached us. We had a big shirt on that says Just Ask, right? And ask us anything about the whole cruise. We're like the ambassadors, whatever. And yeah, we would just be standing there like, hey, we have all this information. People would be going chaotic all over the place.
Right.
And then they would just ask and go, oh, yeah, it's right over there. Oh, yeah, well, follow me this way. Come with me over here.
Yeah.
And so we're saying the same thing is available for you guys. This entire next sermon series, which will go until Labor Day, I believe,
Right.
is called Just Ask. And it's anything that you have questions about in regards to Christianity.
Yeah, yeah. How to live it? What is what's the Bible say about this, that, or the
Yeah,
other?
apologetics.
Yeah, we'll do our best to answer it.
Yeah, you will. Not me. I mean, I'll be there.
All right, I'll do my best.
Right. We'll address all of your questions and things. So there will be a QR code right after I flip the switch onto this video, and that QR code will be collecting more Just Ask questions, even though it says, hey, questions for the podcast. We're going to save those for the actual Just Ask series.
Perfect.
So yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And if you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe and share it around, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're hitting some decent numbers actually on
All right.
Spotify and all over the place.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, everyone.
Have a great day. Happy Father's Day.